Lightning talks. First is Tom Amos from Sidekicker, how to create an MVP as a non-technical founder. Woo! Tom, Raya.
Thanks for having me tonight. So Tom Amos, co-founder of Sidekicker, and we started back in September 2012 now. I need this thing. And I'm going to talk to you about how to get your idea from, something in your head into an MVP when you've got no technical skills at all. So, now, am I doing something? Yeah, there. First of all, don't bother until you can answer this question, why? Why does your product exist? Why will anyone use it? And why are you actually doing this? And it can't just be because you think running a startup's cool or you like the idea of being a business. You need to know why it should exist. So before you even worry about a technical co-founder, ask yourself that. Now, you can answer... Thanks, Kat. We got it. So, it should be over there. Kat, it should be over there. I can't operate like this when it's done. All right, so you know what your product is needed, but you don't. You know Tony Stark, you got no tech skills, you can't sit there and code up a website overnight, so what do? Now, there's three options, and this is the sort of, this is where myself and Jackie, my business partner, are at. I'm a ex-accountant, so love zero. Well done, guys. That's good. And Jackie was at uni, so she couldn't sit there and code. So we had to figure a way to make our vision into a business. So our story. So when Jackie and I, like I said, we had no tech skills. We went down the path. We chose to work with a company called Loud and Clear, and they're still our partners today. So that was the model we went, similar to, I guess, a Blue Chili model, where it's a venture technology, where they take a small portion of equity and you pay them some cash and they build a product and you work with them still. So there's three options. You can find a tech co-founder, pay a freelancer, or you can enter into an agreement such as a venture tech. So we're going to have a look at a few things, some of the benefits and some of the risks of doing something like that. All right, so I just went through that. Yep, damn it. How do I go back, Kat? I should know how to work this since I've got one at home. See, no technical skills. I can't even work Apple TV.
Is that right?
Yes, thank you.
That one's forward. So
oh, yeah. See? That's why we needed a technical co-founder, because if I can't even work this, how am I going to write a line of code? All right, so technical co-founder, definitely the best option if you can do it, but it's very hard. How do you find a good developer? And you've got to put a lot of trust in them. So, how do you find one? I think hanging at events like tonight's a great start. There's a lot of talent around places like Inspire 9, and they are looking at working on great projects. Now, you're going to have to choose extremely wisely because you're putting a lot of trust in this person. You're putting your idea, your vision, and most likely your money, and you're probably going to be giving up some opportunities to start a business. So do it with someone who is not only a good developer, but they need more than skills. They need to be someone you get on with, you can work late nights with, and they're going to share your vision. Doesn't matter if they're the best Ruby coder in the world. If they're a dick, you don't want to work with them. So make sure their personality's all right, because it's important. So the biggest risk with entering into something like that is you make a wrong call and your technical co-founder, like I said, is a dick and you don't enjoy working together. What do you do? And it puts a lot of, there's a lot of risk with that. So not only do you have to find someone who's good, like our friend over here was saying, they also have to be nice and good to work with. So think about that. All right. Yes. How good, thank you. Nailed it. So, you got a freelancer option. So freelancer, contractor, you can outsource it over to India, you can find someone in Melbourne, a uni student or someone just to build you that product that allows you to test it, which can be a viable option as well. Now, you're going to have to pay to build your MVP, so you're probably going to need some savings or you're going to need some investment, or mum and dad are going to have to remortgage the house and give you a bit of cash to get this one done. Now, problems, slow developer. So if you get one developer, it might take you a bit longer than you'd like to get your MVP out there. And then you're up against the risk where, you're entering into an agreement with someone that they might just be able to walk away from, or they might not do it properly, and then you're left, where are you then when they don't build your product properly. So there's a risk with that, and you need to, once again, a lot of it's about choosing someone who, finding someone who's got integrity and someone you can work with as well. And then on to the final one, which is venture technology. So that's what we did, and that's what Blue Chili do as well. And that's where you usually pay an organisation, you put a value on the business, something you agree upon together, and you pay what you can in cash and then give a portion of equity as well. And that's how it works, basically. Now, my one bit of advice with this, and this is something I've probably learnt along the way, and we're fortunate with the people we work with, is if you're going to enter into an agreement, make sure you're doing it with the owners of the business. So, we work with a small agency, or a small digital agency, and we work directly with the 4 blokes who own the company. That's my big one. Don't enter into it unless you've got the full backing of the actual owners, and that they share your vision. So it can't just be something when they're just increasing the price and saying, yeah, we quote you 70 grand and we'll give you a 10% discount for 10% equity or something, but they're actually just increasing their price. So make sure that they share your vision and they buy into your product, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to pay them, and then it's going to cost more, and you're going to have to go back to them, and you need to have their backing, and they're going to have to be willing to do stuff for free. So make sure that you're dealing with the owners. I guess the risks of something like this is it can be expensive. Lots of overheads in agencies and other organisations that you've got to take into account. And once again, what happens if the money runs out? What happens if your startup, like they all do, don't necessarily go exactly to plan, or it's a bit slower, and you've suddenly got to work out how to survive. So I think the common thing here, I'll say it again, is relationships. Work with a company, if you're going to enter into it, that you get on well with and you've got a good relationship, because that's what's going to protect you when times are a little bit harder or you need to ask a favour. So they're my tips. If you've got any questions, come and ask, but enjoy the night.
Okay, that's better. Okay, our next speaker is Michael Calle from Attendly, which is an event organising company. And the topic is, who the fuck is your customer? Have you really thought about that? So, Michael is going to tell you all about it.
Hi guys, how you doing? My name's Michael and I'm the head of growth at Attendly. I'm just going to run through this with you. So Attendly is a white label event registration and ticketing service that you can set up, resell to your clients and earn a commission on the booking fees. We launched in May this year and dedicated ourselves to answering one question for the entire next month. Who the fuck is the customer? And we did this by following the words of Steve Blank and to get out of the building. Now, why we did this is because we wanted to have real conversations with real potential customers, because those conversations are better than any survey, email, or data you're going to get as an early stage startup. And the best thing about it is you don't need to build a thing. I'm going to teach you how we got 80 different people in 9 different target markets to agree to speak to us about our product. So here's what we're going to cover: brainstorming your target markets, building a high quality list of leads, how and what to cold email your leads, how to get the most out of your call. And the first step is, who is your target market? So think of every use case, a customer segment for your product. Trust your gut, look at your competitors, and make assumptions. Write down each and every one of them and whittle down to your best, and organize them logically, whether it's by industry, demographics, or organization. When we did this project with Attendly, we actually went after their occupation / the industry they were in, and we ended up with those target markets. Once you have that, you want to kind of ask questions about who they are. Who are they? What do they do for a living? What do they care about? And then ask questions about your product as well. So how would they use the product? What would they like? What would they dislike? What would it take to get them on board? Do they have the problem that you're trying to solve? And how much will they pay to let you solve that problem, I guess? So the next step we took is to build a research team. So we use Odesk to build our research team. You don't need to do this stuff yourself. There's other platforms like Elance, Fiverr, Freelancer, Tom with Sidekicker. Few tips for if you're outsourcing any of these types of projects. Make sure you test your applicants, so give them a short taste of what the project is like before you commit to having them on for the entirety of the project. Hire more than one person, so send the test out to as many people as you want and whittle them down to the cream of the crop, essentially. Drop any bad workers early and build approvals into the work so that they're not going for hours on end without checking in with you. Make sure that you establish time expectations and build a how-to guide that tells them exactly how to do the project. That'll save you a lot of headaches in the long run. Here's what we ended up with. So how we did that, the researchers would find the URLs, they'd manually check and improve for good matches. That's what we do. And then we'd grab the country and phone number from their URL, search LinkedIn for their company, find high-level executives from the company's LinkedIn page, run their name and domain through Distilled's email permutator, which you can grab at that link and will be at the end of the slideshow as well. And cross-reference these with Reporting to find a personal email, which you can find at reporting.com. So from here, you've got your target markets worked out. You've got a list of large contacts from within each target market. What next? So we're going to send them a cold email. We tested a stack of different approaches to the cold email. This is what won the best. So it got to the point quickly, kind of stroked their ego a bit, made it relevant to them, made it easy for them to say yes, ended with a clear call to action, made it clear what we were asking for, got to the point and it was short, and that resulted in a 10 to 15% conversion rate from cold emails to calls. How do we send the email? So I started out manually doing each email and almost got RSI in the process. Then I moved on to trying out a platform like MailChimp, and that really wasn't working out too well because you can't personalize to the same level. But you can create a script that fires personalized emails straight from your spreadsheet to your connected Gmail account, which is what we did. That's what it looks like. We'll give you all this stuff later so you can go and have a play with it. With great power comes great responsibility though. So a few more tips about the email. Contain each email blast that you send out with a Gmail label so you know where each one's coming from. Sub-label response with a positive response to keep track of all the leads of the people that you should be replying to. Use a CRM. We use Pipedrive to keep track of all that stuff. And get familiar with tools like Boomerang, Reportive, Signals, YesWhere, and Schedule Once. They come in really handy. So you've landed the call. You've got a couple people answering your response. Now what? Now we're going to build a question sheet. So think backwards from your perfect customer and develop questions that give you a definitive yet detailed response. Revisit your assumptions about each market from step one and work these into the questions. Ensure that you ask each target market a similar question so you have a semi-standardized responses for your analysis later. And keep it at around 8 questions maximum. Workshop and test them until they're absolutely perfect. Now when you're making the call, you've got 4 real goals, and they're to debunk or validate your assumptions, find out more about your target market, discover if they feel the pain point that you fix, and ask for feedback about your solution. A few tips about calls. Set time expectations early on. 10 minutes is a pretty good length. Note their objections. These are gold. These are the things that you want. You want them to object to your product and find out why. Have one person conducting the call and the other person writing notes. You'll pick up a lot of different things. Debrief with each other after the call. Write a paragraph summarizing the call immediately after hanging up. And if I went too fast, I apologize, but we've got a bunch of stuff up there that you can head to. And that's all there. Thanks.
That is really clever stuff. When you get your product and you've got to get it to market, you're going to develop a process, or you won't have a process. So please look up Attendly and check this stuff out.